The Miami Heat last night, they lost to Boston. Do you think we ought to storm the auditorium in Orlando, Florida, where they're playing and demonstrate? Do you think we ought to tear the posts down and in all of the football games? Do you think we ought to really be the star of that new show called Sore Loser? We've done every other reality show. We've done The Bachelor, which is guys trying to get laid, and it's we've played it out. We've played it all out. It's all been played out. The swamp. First of all, does that wall that Trump wanted to build, is that still important to have that wall? Do you think that anybody, Mexicans want the wall to keep us from going there? It's, you don't know. See, one more fact and it alters the picture. That's the point of what I'm saying. And people getting caught up in this revolution or evolution, or caught up in the ideology. All I care about is my stimulus check for the time being, for money. And the other thing I care about is my age, so that I can work again, because I don't want to be discarded in my profession. And I'm eminently qualified, according to me. The world, according to me. And I think somewhere along the line we get confused and get caught up, because we've got a lot of time on our hands. So let's face it, this pandemic has put people together much too long and too close for the wrong reasons and the wrong people. You're stuck. And so what do? We find entertainment, and there's nothing entertaining about a double homicide, which is what we got entertained with O.J. Simpson. I've mentioned that many times on the air. I did not think, even David Letterman said that, there's nothing entertaining about double homicide, but we milked it so that television had a show. We got caught in the drama, and then this is before Netflix, when you had sequels to all of this foolishness. On this government thing now, CNN, Fox, boy, they got something to do 24/7 now, so they can sell spots, have commercials. I'm going to tell you something. I bet you didn't know this. You talk about what's behind the curtain. This is the Wizard of Oz thinking. You've seen the movie. I hope you have. A couple things about that. First of all, that movie was done in color, except for the one black and white sequence where Dorothy's home was blown away from the tornado in Kansas, and that was black and white, that segment of the movie. Other than that, everything else was in brilliant MGM color. When Ted Turner got out of the news business and bought the MGM library and put it on his Turner network, he wanted to colorize black and white films. That would have ruined the Wizard of Oz. He would colorize the one scene that's in black and white. But see, people do things because it's a generalization. They generalize. They say, okay, this all needs color right now. The whole thing needs color. Instead of being particular. And then there are those people who are very detail oriented, and they're picayune. They pick on everything and they pick it all apart. There's folks who argue that way. I had a friend who was mad at me for 15 years. He didn't never say that he was mad at something I had done in 1908 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He had it pinpointed to the hour where I said what he didn't want me to say and what year it was, and I forgot all about it. Because people who hold on to things hold on to things. They hold on to grudges, hold on to resentments, and they don't serve us well. There's no forgiveness in that. That's obvious. And there's no love in it. If there's no love, there's no respect. If there's no truth, there's no love. There's no respect if you don't have the truth. So what this whole issue about right now is telling the truth. It's a truth-finding committee. What is the truth? Now, about the vote counting, let's talk about that for a minute. I think underneath everything in our society, there is a secret organization of people who do things that you don't ever know about, and they get things done. Sometimes you see that happen in a family. You see it happen with rich people, people who have privilege and have money, and they can hire lawyers to hide their various beliefs or whatever it is that they don't want you to know. And I think you've got to know this. When the radio business and records were married, radio and records, this is during my generation when music was on the radio and played famously, we had what was known as promotion men. What they would do is they were mostly men in that time, they would go from station to station and present the music that was played and successful somewhere else. That's how they got the radio station to add a record to be played, because it was a hit. It was a hit somewhere. So they would take a record that was a hit in Cleveland, Ohio, and they would bring it to someone in Pittsburgh and say, hey, this is a big hit in Cleveland, and you got similar demographics, you're an industrial city, you ought to play this polka. So that's how that got started. And then it would become a national hit, a regional hit, a national hit. It would be on Billboard. It would be in all of the trades. And then there were people who run the trades that were not exactly honest. There was a lot of payoffs. So here you got what they call a promotion man. Did you ever know they existed? Did you know that there was such a thing as an average listener or a person in this society? Did you know that there were people who were paid to go around the country and put this music on the air like that and convince people to play something so that it would be a hit? Did you know that? You didn't know it. Many people did know it. So how many people are there in government that do this? You don't know. You don't know. And I'm not talking about the obvious lobbying, because that's payola. But let's talk about people who are doing these jobs. They get things done, but they're not known. It's a suspect when they're known, and then they're called a known what? A known suspect. So you have a different kind of a world right now of people who are not truthful. So the truth will set you free, and you got to live.